So hello everyone, welcome to my channel. So today we will be talking about IELTS reading and the ways we can improve our IELTS reading score. So without much ado, let's just get into our video. So as you know, IELTS reading is one of the 4 modules of IELTS test, the others being IELTS writing, speaking as well as listening. IELTS reading is designed in a way to test the test takers' ability to understand academic English. So most of you guys will be going to a native English country, maybe to pursue your studies or to do a profession. In both the cases, it is imperative that you guys understand academic English. Okay. So this section of the IELTS examination is designed to test that skill of yours. All right. So IELTS reading test is having 3 long passages, long as in like 700 to 800 word passages. So from these passages are taken from various sources like newspapers, articles, academic journals, etc., etc. And topic also, varied topic can come. You can find articles relating to history, art, culture, science, technology, etc. These passages are designed to make it challenging to the non-native speakers of English, even though these are just English, but the thing being, they add a lot of vocabulary, complex ones, as well as sentence structures that makes it a little bit challenging for the non-native speakers of English. But not to worry, you can conquer them, you can deal with them with a little bit of practice and properly understanding what you're expected to do in these questions. So as we have seen, we will be having 3 long passages to read and 40 questions to answer from that, each question carrying 1 mark, and all these you have to complete it like 60 minutes. All right. So in your IELTS reading examination, you will be handed over 1 question paper as well as an answer sheet. First of all, you are supposed to write your answers in the question paper with a pencil and then transfer your answer to your answer sheet. But unlike IELTS listening, where you are given specific time to transfer your answer to your answer sheet, here you don't have any specific time. So that makes this section of the IELTS examination all the more difficult and challenging, because you have to read, you have to find answers, as well as you have to copy that to your answer sheet, all within this specified 60 minutes. That makes it very, very, very difficult for you to manage your time. So early on in your preparation, you have to study to manage your time. So now the question is, how can I improve my IELTS reading band score? So the first tip or the first way that you can improve your IELTS reading band score is by familiarizing yourself with the IELTS test. So this is one thing I always say. This is the first order of your business. You have to familiarize with the exam format before actually getting into your preparation stage. So knowing your examination means you have to know the format. You have to know the time limitation if you have any for your particular examination. All right. Coming to your IELTS test, and in specifically to your IELTS reading test, your test format is like you will be having 3 passages. You have to answer 40 questions from those 3 passages, and you will also be getting like 60-minute time to complete this. Also note that you will not be getting any specific time to copy your answers from your question paper to your answer sheet. So time, you really have to manage your time in this section of the IELTS examination. Okay. So second tip is expand your vocabulary. We have seen like IELTS passages are made difficult to the non-native speakers of English by the inclusion of complex vocabulary and sentence structure. So to understand this complex vocabulary, you have to learn, you have to step out of your comfort zone, and you have to learn more and more complex words or kind of like fancy words in English. A way to do is like you can either watch something, listen to English, more and more native English, like series or something like that, which you fancy, which you have an interest in. That is one way that you can pick new words. You can also read academic tests. You can read newspapers, anything that come handy to you, which you find interest in, you can read. So by listening to English, by reading English, you can get new words. So if you are reading, then you have to make sure you are getting the pronunciation right, the spelling right. You can write it down somewhere. the words that you get from both the sources, by reading as well as by listening to English. You can collect those words in a small diary or make note in your phone only. Then what you can do is like you can find meaning to that. So jot the words down. Later on, you can find meaning to that. And then you can form little tricks or tips to, remember them. Probably like 5 words in a day, it is good to go. You can remember 5 days. It is not that huge a number or something like that. Just 5 good fancy words that you find interesting. Then what you can do is like, you can say these words aloud in multiple times in that day and try to use these words in your conversation. You're writing something, just use that word. You can even do like, just frame sentences so that you can use that word. While you use it repeatedly in your conversation, while you're writing, that become part of your vocabulary. This is the best way to learn a lot of new words and to include them in your vocabulary. All right, so do practice this. While you're listening to English or while you are reading English, just pick up the new words that you encounter, write it down somewhere, find meaning to that, then intentionally use them in your conversation in whatever you're writing. That way you can assimilate them into your vocabulary. All right, I hope you will practice this and you can see massive changes in your speed of learning new words. Okay, so please do practice this. The third tip is practice skimming and scanning. So skimming and scanning are 2 reading skills that you have to master if you want to excel in your IELTS reading. So now what is skimming and what is scanning? Skimming is like you're just reading through, just like you skim the milk. What is skimming the milk means you're taking that layer out of the milk. So just that you're just going through the passage and just understanding, okay, what is the overall meaning, what the author is trying to convey to you. The overall meaning of the passage, you are just reading through it and trying to find that. That is called skimming. And scanning is like, you are going for particular details. Okay, what he is talking about this, what he is talking about that. So especially skimming is you just read through the passage and try to understand, okay, this passage is all about global warming. So somewhere you see what is being said in the Paris Climate Agreement, what is being specified in the Kyoto Protocol, this, that, and all that are the specific details. Okay, so you skim through the passage first, then you read your questions and what is asked in the question. Then you try to look for the keyword. If the question is being asked about what is being said in the Kyoto Protocol, then you go back to the passage, scan for that, what is being said in the passage regarding the Kyoto Protocol. So these are the 2 skills. One, just reading through the passage, then you read the question and try to find the keyword, try to find the answer to that. That is scanning. What I need, I scan in the passage. So you have to practice this. So you read a lot of passage, you try to find out like what the author is trying to say, and then you try to remember or try to figure out, okay, what he's saying about this particular thing, what is he saying about that particular thing. Okay, so like that you can improve your skimming and scanning skill, which is very important in your IELTS reading. So the next step is practice your actual IELTS test. Practice your actual IELTS reading test. This is your best buddy because you get a grab of what the format is like, what are the kind of questions you are expecting in your IELTS examination, and everything you will understand if you are practicing your IELTS reading test. And also here you can understand, here you can practice your skimming and scanning skills also in a better manner. So early on in your IELTS preparation, try to solve or try to go through a IELTS reading test, the actual IELTS reading test, and practice them over and over again. You can also understand your strengths and your weaknesses only if you attempt these tests. So once you go through the test and you know that, okay, I am not good at finding answer to this kind of particular question, then you can work on that. So do practice the actual IELTS test. Then you find that questions comes with an answer key. So it is very easy for you to give a feedback to yourself, then assess the feedback and then improve on your weaknesses. So this process, this constant process of doing the practice test assessing them and then improving yourself is very important, and this can really help you in your whole IELTS preparation journey. So please do it without any fail. So the last tip for the day is time management. If time was not a factor, IELTS will not be a difficult examination. If you're given a passage and time is not a limit, you have the luxury of time, then obviously anybody can find answer to them. So it is not difficult. What makes IELTS examination a difficult one is the time. And it is particularly important in your reading because you will be having long passages and reading them is a humongous time consuming process. And then finding answer to them and also copying them to your answer sheet all within an hour is a really difficult task. You can do this only if you have the practice. So early on, start practice doing your actual test over and over again and then improve on that. So in your examination, in your real IELTS test, it will not be that difficult for you because by the time you approach your actual examination, you will be so confident because you have done this n number of practice tests, you have worked on you, so that will not be difficult for you at all. So practicing time management by doing your actual IELTS test is very important for your preparation. So you have to do that without any fail. So these were the tips that you can follow to get a good score in your IELTS examination, especially in your IELTS reading test. So I hope this video has been very helpful for you guys. So please do follow them. Please do follow all the tips. I think familiarizing with your test, most of you guys have already done that. So if you haven't done that, please do familiarize yourself with the exam format. And about the vocabulary comes handy for all of the sessions of your IELTS test. So please do study more and more vocabulary. Please do try to assimilate them into your active vocabulary. Okay, so you have to do that, and practicing actual IELTS test is also important for all of these 4 modules of your IELTS examination. So please do all of this and be prepared for your upcoming IELTS test. So all the best, guys. That's all for you.